Ladies and gentlemen of Africa, sons and daughters of this continent, and friends beyond our shores, I ask you today to pause, to reflect, and to pray. Pray for a man whose very heartbeat has become the rhythm of resistance. Pray for Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the leader of Burkina Faso, the young lion of Africa, whose life hangs in danger. This danger is not new. It did not arrive yesterday. It has been stalking him since the moment he took power. 40 times, yes, 40 separate occasions, forces seen and unseen have tried to silence him. 40 times men with guns, men with poison, men with plans of betrayal, men with money to bribe and deceive, have all been sent to end him. 40 times the shadow of death reached out, and 40 times it failed. Think of that number, 40. Not once, not twice, not even 10. 40 assassination attempts. Every one of them a reminder of the fear he inspires in his enemies. Every one of them proof that his presence threatens systems that have ruled Africa for centuries. 40 times Africa's enemies have conspired to end him, and 40 times he has survived, not only as a man, but as a symbol of survival itself. Why does he face such danger? Because when you choose the path of truth, when you lift your head high and declare that Africa will no longer kneel, you mark yourself as a target. When you act in the interest of your people, you are branded dangerous by those who profit from their suffering. This is the truth of African history. Every leader who rose for freedom has been hunted. Thomas Sankara was assassinated. Patrice Lumumba was murdered. Amilcar Cabral was cut down. Samora Machel was taken in an airplane crash that still raises questions. Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown. Each of these men paid the price for daring to say, "Africa is ours and Africa must be free." Samora Machel once said, "When the colonizer praises you, ask yourself what evil you are doing to your own people." That warning rings clear today, for Ibrahim Traoré receives no praise from the West. He receives bullets instead. He receives plots instead. He receives betrayal instead. And that is because he refuses to betray his people. 2 days before the most recent attempt on his life, Traoré stood side by side with Assimi Goïta of Mali and Abdourahmane Tiani of Niger. Together, they made an announcement that shook the foundations of international law. They declared that the Sahel states are withdrawing from the International Criminal Court. Why? Because the ICC, the so-called World Court, has been nothing but a weapon dressed in the robes of justice. It claims neutrality, but its record exposes the truth. More than 90% of its cases are against Africans. Presidents dragged before it, generals accused, ministers humiliated. Africa made to kneel before the world as if it alone carries the weight of crime. And yet, where are the trials for those who destroyed Iraq? Where are the trials for those who turned Libya into chaos? Where are the indictments for those who reduced Syria to ashes? Where are the charges against corporations that drained Congo's minerals, stole West Africa's oil, and left villages hungry? You will not find them, because the ICC is not justice. It is not a universal court. It is a colonial tool to discipline Africa. It is a leash to remind leaders, step out of line and you will be dragged before the world. But the Sahel leaders said no. They said, this court is not ours. This court has failed its purpose. It is their court, not Africa's court. We will not bow to it. With that declaration, they broke a chain that had bound Africa for decades. The effect was immediate. In the embassies of Europe, in the offices of Washington, alarm bells rang. This was not viewed as a legal step. It was seen as rebellion, as defiance, as a declaration of independence. The West saw it not as a technical withdrawal, but as an act of war against their system of control. And if this was not enough, another event followed. A French delegation arrived in the Sahel. They claimed to bring peace. They asked to restore ties. They asked to meet. They carried words dressed in sweet diplomacy, partnership, cooperation, opportunity. They spoke of building bridges. They carried speeches designed to melt hearts, promises polished until they shone. But the Sahel leaders have tasted these words before. They know that sugar always hides poison. They know that partnership often means plunder. They know that dialogue usually means deception. And so Traoré, Goïta, and Tiani did the unthinkable. They refused. They did not meet. They did not send representatives. They did not play the old game of false smiles and handshakes. They said no. That refusal was louder than 1,000 speeches. It was a roar across the continent. It said, "We are not children. We will not kneel. We will not sit at a table that is poisoned." Diplomats were stunned. Never before had African leaders refused dialogue with the West so openly. Never before had they declined to even sit. But that was the point. This was not diplomacy. This was dignity. And nothing frightens a former master more than a servant who no longer accepts chains. When the Sahel refused, the mask fell away. The world saw the truth. The West was not coming for Africa's sake. It was coming to save itself. It was coming for gold, for uranium, for oil. It was coming because the Sahel is rich and Europe is hungry. The refusal exposed the lie of partnership and showed Africa that freedom means saying no. But saying no has consequences. From that moment, the danger deepened. Every refusal, every bold move, every broken chain makes the Sahel leaders greater enemies in the eyes of the West. That is why assassination attempts mount. That is why rumors of coups circulate. That is why enemies gather in shadows. Because Traore is not feared as a man alone. He is feared as a fire that could spread across Africa. He is feared as an example to the youth. He is feared as proof that courage is possible. If the youth see him stand, they too will stand. If the youth hear his words, they too will speak. If the youth watch him refuse, they too will refuse. This is why he is hunted, because he is dangerous, not with weapons, but with inspiration. And yet, brothers and sisters, consider his response. He does not hide. He does not flee. He does not lock himself away. He walks among his people. He addresses crowds. He continues his work. He shows no fear. Every failed attempt becomes fuel. Every bullet missed becomes proof. Every survival becomes a lesson. 40 assassination attempts, poison in food, bullets in ambush, explosives planted on his route, spies inside his palace, betrayal among those who swore loyalty, plans discovered at the last moment, assassins intercepted, death knocking but never entering. 40 times the dream was targeted and 40 times the dream survived. Behind these attempts are many faces. Some are local, elites who lost wealth when the old order fell, businessmen whose fortunes depended on French dominance, politicians who were puppets of the colonial hand. But others are far away, in Paris, in Brussels, in Washington, in boardrooms where corporations count profits in gold and uranium, in offices where strategists whisper, "If this man lives, Africa will awaken. Stop him before it is too late." But Traore continues, and with every step he takes, he becomes larger than a president. He becomes a symbol. To the youth of Africa, he is living proof that age is no barrier to leadership. At 34, he rose to power. In a continent where men cling to power into their 80s, this alone is revolutionary. He shows the youth that courage is possible. He shows them that leadership is not about age, but about spirit. That is why he is called the Lion of Africa. Not because of his uniform, not because of his title, but because of his heart, because of the roar that shakes the silence. And this is what the West fears most, that Africa's youth will awaken, that they will see Traore, Goita, and Tiani not as exceptions, but as examples, that they will realize chains are illusions, that they will believe sovereignty is worth fighting for. For centuries, the West has thrived on Africa's division, silence, and fear. But now unity grows, boldness rises, hope spreads, and once hope is planted, no empire can uproot it. So yes, brothers and sisters, the knives are drawn, the bullets are loaded, the assassins move, the whispers of coups echo. The danger is real, but Traore is not alone. Behind him stand the people of Burkina Faso. Beside him are Mali and Niger. Around him are the youth of Africa. Above him is the spirit of history itself. If Traore survives, Africa's rise will accelerate. If he falls, Africa will still rise. For the seed has been planted. It is already growing. It is beyond one man. No court, no coup, no assassin can kill the future. History is turning. The Sahel has declared, we are free. We are fearless. We will not bow again. And when the chronicles of this century are written, they will say, Ibrahim Traoré did not merely rule. He fought death itself. He defied empires, and he lit the fire that awakened Africa.